when beginning anything, begin with the passion, begin with your brain. I remember one time watching an interview for Dangote, and he was like, they were like, if you fail again today, what becomes of you? He said that I know what I did to get here. I'll go something of that sort. The business I'm going into now that I said I began, even when I did not have all the resources in it, is something I had begun and failed. I was told I would fail. And it happened. So I learned from the, and I went into the same thing again, but then going in with a deep strategy. I have one decision in my life. It's either I try, it's either I die while trying, than to die mediocre that your eyes can see. I will give you for an inheritance. Now that is to tell you that whatsoever your eyes cannot see, you cannot possess.
I would like you to give again these 3 questions that you use to discover your purpose. Many people in this our current age run from those fields of agriculture and go into other fields of tech, engineering, and all that. So for those even watching the podcast and they're like, it's true what he's saying, we can start with the agriculture, but they don't really know why they should start with the agriculture. For how will you advise the person to enter it? Hello, thanks for tuning in again into this video. It means the world to my team and I, and we are so glad to see that you showed up for this video and you are going to get inspired. We just have one request for you. Please subscribe. By subscribing, you help I and my team be able to produce these amazing and inspirational videos for you every week. We will bring the best guests on our podcast to inspire you and motivate you towards your journey of success. So all what we want from you is to subscribe. Thanks. Before accepting this invitation to the podcast, The Vision to Success. And without further ado, I'll just go ahead and ask you our first question. If I also ask one person in your zone, around you, always around you, that who is Nji Emmanuel, what would that person tell me?
Okay, who is Nji Emmanuel? Well, I believe that in the circle of people, everyone has a definition as to who is Emmanuel. But since you went to who will be close to me, I think that for those that are close to me, they will begin by smile and they will be like, he should be the weirdest person I know of. You know, Emmanuel is one of those people that you would always find in three places. Like they would always say, it's either I'm in school, I'm in church, or perhaps I'm doing something that is related to the business. And when these 3 things are concerned, if I'm out of it, then what I should be doing out of it is something that is yet related to it. I'm that one person who will not stop talking about purpose, who will not stop talking about direction and focus field. But then my life is not so centered around seriousness. I think I could make people laugh too. I think I'm not so much of the reserved type. Gradually, I'm getting to be, the social one.
Wow. That's actually nice to hear that about you. And if I also ask, what makes you different from 99% of the population here in Africa? How are you unique?
That's a really broad one. 99% of Africans. Well, I've not been able to meet them all, but I would say that if there's one thing about Africans I know of, it's their fear to start. When you look at the African young persons, they are very critical about just starting up. They want everything to look smooth before they go out there to maybe do something. But I would say that's not something that I have. I don't need to get everything figured out to begin. Like, I begin because I know that I'm a young person and the errors may come, but then we figure it out in the process. What makes me 90 different from the 90% of the population of young Africans? And like I would say because Africans, young Africans especially, are very skeptical. They want everything cleared up before they start. For instance, if one wants to begin the business or begin education, they feel like I need to first get intelligent to go to school, whereas school is meant for you to learn and become that intelligent. When they want to start doing something as maybe business, They think that I need to get all the capital set up. I need to start up like Dangote. I need to
Mm-hmm.
start up like Bill Gates. But then even these people did not start that way. So I would say that it's my duty to take action and decision. Uh, Presently, I got into a little business that I do for at least to run my academic expenses or one or two while thinking of growing. And when I was about to begin, it's like funny. I had just 3,000 francs
Wonderful.
as my account balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I had 5,000 francs, and in that 5,000 francs, I was only using 2,000 francs. Yeah, and I looked for a place where to start. I began to set up things, even though I did not have it. And people were like, I should be mad because they don't see where I'm about to get the money from. My mom was like, I hope you're not looking up to me for this. Now, presently, this business I'm talking about, we began it 3 weeks ago, and the
Mm-hmm.
assets we've been able to make out of it is already
Yes.
running into about 500,000. I would say that sometimes when you're about to start, it's not some of the
Mm-hmm.
resources are already available. But then it's because we are blinded with the excuses. I'll say two things that blinds us
Yeah.
from taking the next move. You just need to begin. Sometimes all the budget is intercalated, you don't have to put in as much. Some of the things are already available. And while people see your
Mm-hmm.
determination to actually begin, they would support. When people begin to see the vision as to why you are going into this, you could
Mm-hmm.
even have partnerships from there. And that's what makes me step forward, moving, no matter what. I'll figure it out
Okay,
along
okay,
the way.
I get. That's actually something cool that makes you different and unique. Like you're not scared of even starting a business, even though you had just 5,000 in your bank account. You're like, nah, let me start with this and let me keep going. And just even as you were saying that, one question just came into my mind because many people like they have the opportunity to start a business, but they're always like scared that if I start doing this, what will my parents even think about me? What will this my friend in school think about me? So I would like to know in your like from your own journey, what pushed you into going in and starting that business? And did you face also that fear of like, what will these people think about me? If you face the fear, how did you overcome it?
Okay, thank you very much for that. So I would say if I say I do not face that fear, then I'm a liar. Actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
almost
the
everybody
fear
feels
came.
the fear, true.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
often comes, and especially at the beginning, it's frightful. Like
very
there's
true, very true.
a lot, and sometimes what's even more frightful about this is that when you ask those some of
Uh,
ahead of you that are around you, some may not give you the secret. Some will give you so much of the
uh,
challenges that you have to face, making you even more scared. And very few will be like, you can go on, take the lead. Well, when it concerns business or something of that sort, the business I'm going into now that I said I began, even when I did not have
yes.
all the resources in place, is something I had begun and
Yeah.
failed. I was told I would fail,
Oh.
and it happened. So uh, I
Uh,
learned from the and I went into the same thing again, but then going in with a different strategy. And I'll not say we've
uh,
succeeded. We are still in course. Like I said, it's not been up to a month, but the future is favorable. And even if I fail, I would say one thing: when beginning
uh,
anything, begin with the passion, begin with your brain, so that
yes.
in case you have a failure, we would use these assets that cannot be
Uh,
bought to begin again. I remember one time watching an interview for Dangote, and he was like, they were like, if you
uh,
fail again today, what becomes of you? He said that I know what I did to get
yeah, it
here.
makes
I would
sense.
go
Makes sense.
begin. So that's literally the
Uh,
vision that every young African should have. Yeah. So the fear, but what we I use to combat that fear is the fact that I have one decision in my life. It's either I try, it's either I
uh,
die while trying than
oh,
to die
I love the
mediocre.
phrase.
If I want to be wealthy in life, if I want to be outstanding,
Yes.
I would put in everything. I can't sit on my bed and begin to say I've analyzed it and it will fail.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go in for the failure and come back again
Wow.
for as many times as possible. And that's literally
Mm-hmm.
what I'll tell the young people out there. I'm not promising you that beginning the journey will be
Mm-hmm.
successful automatically. There will be challenges, there will be those crises, there will be that fear. But yet you need to put in the effort. You need to still say, okay, in spite of all of this, I will try
Yes.
it, I will do it myself. I will not hear from them. If other people were
Mm-hmm.
able to do this thing and succeed, then you try it too and
Very
see where
true.
the success within it lies. And when I began this business, I had to move out of my house. Now, I'm not encouraging any young person to move
Mm-hmm.
out of their own houses, but moving out of my house, I was
Yes.
not going to live alone. I was going to live with persons that had part of the assets I was to begin with. So I went back to my grandparents. I
Mm-hmm.
went back to the village, and every day I lived there to school, lived back from school to.
Yeah.
I tried to um pass back home as often as possible. But then that was what I
Mm-hmm.
needed. I needed to be alone for to think out, and I make sure as much as possible the expenses do not maybe
Mm-hmm.
overshadow the main goal. So it's literally a strategy of you sit down and you think and
Yeah.
you're like, this is my life, this is what you want. You'll not be
Mm-hmm.
here for the rest of your life. Unless you chose to be. So it's about you going out there, you put the effort, and in spite of the fears, you move. For every man that is standing out there, they are also afraid to fall, even though they are already standing. So who are you that has not even started and
Yeah.
you get, so you need to
Mm-hmm.
go that
And
extra mile.
just even talking about your experience from you discovering your passion into building your whole business. One thing people like in this our current age, like a main problem that even they face right now is that sometimes they'll be in the house just helping their mother doing this, doing that, but they don't really know what they want to do in their life. They don't even know if at one point in life they have to build a business as you did or do one or two stuff. So I want to ask you, how did you discover this your passion in life? Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy you made it to how did you discover your passion and not your purpose? Because when it comes to purpose, I would say I'm still on the
Uh-huh.
lane of discovering it.
And as
I
for
will
you,
not say
what's the
I've
difference
completely
between
figured
passion
it
and
all
purpose?
out. In fact, the roads I'm taking, I feel like, okay, thank you very much. The difference between passion and purpose. To me, like I said, I'm a faith-driven leader as well. And I would say that purpose
Mm-hmm.
is that
Okay.
reason to
Yeah.
which we are on earth. It's the answer to the question we are
Mm-hmm.
coming up
Makes a lot of
to
sense.
fill up. So there's a blank page on the planet that's waiting for you, that's waiting for Emmanuel
Mm-hmm.
to come and fill up. And passion now is more like that thing that will either lead you to the purpose or is the
Okay.
purpose itself. So sometimes your passion may look like
Mm-hmm.
it's the purpose you found, but you should think
Yes.
critically about it because it may just be a road to
Mm-hmm.
finding your purpose. Yeah, and you did ask a question.
Yeah.
Please,
The
can you
main
come
question
again with the
was, how
question you
did you
had
discover
before?
that your passion in life? How did you discover it?
Okay, discovering passion. I would say that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
passion is inbuilt, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
passion comes about because of the mentality you have or those you
Yes.
surround yourself with. There are certain habits you develop and gradually build
Mm-hmm.
passion for it, not because you were automatically wired that way, but because of those that you find yourself around. So, as for me, the passion for agriculture,
Yes.
the passion for all of this was
Oh,
because
okay.
of the vision I have and because of
Mm-hmm.
those that were around me. Growing up, presently, I'm a student of on the School of Tropical Agriculture and Natural Research, and presently I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing what animal science. And growing up,
Wow.
that was our livelihood. Like that's what was used. And even till now, my mom is in the
Mm-hmm.
field of agriculture. Even in the business sense of what she's doing, the business she's into still has to do with agriculture. That's
Yes.
the phytosanitary world. And it all began from seeing them. I was like, what if I just had to
Mm-hmm.
rewire this thing they were doing and make out the figure I've always had in mind. Now, for you to get there, you
Yes.
must first of all have expectations. Uh, Let me quote a little scripture I believe in. When God had asked Abraham to leave
Yes.
his father and his mother's house to take him to a
Mm-hmm.
place he would show him, they finally got to a land, and God told Abraham that for as far as your eyes can see, I will give
Mm-hmm.
you for an inheritance. Now, that is to tell you that whatsoever your eyes cannot see, you cannot possess. You must be able to see as far as that for you to
Oh,
accomplish
okay.
as much as it. So it was
Mm-hmm.
because of the future I saw, the heart I had of humanity. And the three questions I always like to revolve
Mm-hmm.
about, if not two,
Can give
three.
them.
How could I help humanity or be of
Yes.
service to humanity while creating it? Now, how could I do this to
Mm-hmm.
be sustainable? And how do
Yes.
I make money out of it? If I don't make money out of what I'm doing, end of the day, it will be overwhelming and begin to
Mm-hmm.
feel frustrating.
Yeah, I get it.
You get it? So I look at vision as a pathway. I'm creating impact. Impact should be able to
Mm-hmm.
give me food on my table. And so when going into agriculture, I was going into soft.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that in Africa, sometimes our problem is
Very
not even
true.
the food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we actually have the food, but the required food we need or the quality of food that Africans need
Yeah.
is not what they have. I remember sometime in history we were talking about one president that was running in, and his campaign for Americans back then in the 1900s was for all Americans to have a chicken in their pot
Mm-hmm.
and a car in their garage. Now that's my vision for as many as possible for
Yeah.
Africans to reach there. But then while driving this vision, I need to
Mm-hmm.
put in sustainability. That even if I'm no more, or even while I'm on the journey, I should
Mm-hmm.
be motivated to do more. And I would say that's how the vision for
Yeah.
agriculture came about. It was about solving problems of humanity while making an ends meet together with putting it
Mm-hmm.
up in a sustainable way. And that's why, for as much as possible, I would always want Africans to be lured into what my vision is. Not maybe dragging them forcefully out of theirs, but maybe showing them the light that is in mine. And for anyone that would like love to join it, you are
Mm-hmm.
so much welcome.
Okay, that's actually cool to hear. And I would like you to give again these three questions that you use to discover your purpose. So I just had the opportunity to get one of the questions like, how should I help humanity? And the last was, how should I have money from it? So what was the second question? These three questions that you can use to get your purpose.
Well, I
Mm-hmm.
talked of helping humanity. To help humanity,
Yeah.
I realized the problem in Africa. The problem was the food shortages
Mm-hmm.
or the quality of the food
Yeah.
in spite of its abundance. And so I was coming in to solve a human problem. Secondly,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of the sustainability. How do I come about this and leave the mark? Nelson Mandela once said that in the world,
Mm-hmm.
there are different categories of people. There are people
Yeah.
that will leave the world with memories, but the memories that they will leave the world with will be that of agony and melancholy. And there are people who will be in this world, but
Mm-hmm.
will be remembered for nothing. And so when I joined these two things, I did not want to be amongst any of them. So I wanted to be one of those that will not
Yes.
just fill in for impact, but will be able to allow a pace through which the impact will continue in the
Yeah.
future generation. And that's when I began to think about the young Africans,
Mm-hmm.
the young Cameroonians, the young persons beside me. And now, lastly, I began to think of what would be the
Yes.
motivation behind this. Remember, apart from passion, please don't be fooled. You can have all the passion in the world, but if you go days with hunger, you would
Very
understand what
true.
I'm saying. If you go days when you cannot meet up to basic necessities and ends meet, you
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying. So I began to think of how do I get back something from this? It should be a give and take. It should be a
Yes.
connection with the world, with the natural world I live in, and not just me giving in it. It should be able to give back to me so that even those
Mm-hmm.
that are coming behind will see the results that I had and want to also have it. So when you think about these three things, sustainability, uh, when you think about sustainability, service, and the benefits even to you, I would be sincere. It will be easier for you to get up with a passion that will give you reasons as to why you must or you
Yeah.
should do what you want to do.
Okay, that's actually cool to hear. And even talking as you are speaking, I'm even getting that you are very unique in many perspectives. Because currently, in this our current age, many people usually instead dive into the field of tech, computer science, and all of that. But now, seeing again still somebody in this our age diving into the field of agriculture and solving some problems found in the agricultural system is something very essential. And there's even something that he said is like we can't just be working without even having something to eat. If you don't have something to eat, you don't even know how you're going to continue with other things in your life. So actually that sector is very essential. Now I would like to ask you, why does many people in this our current age run from those fields of agriculture and go instead to other fields of tech, engineering and all the rest?
Okay, good. When you look at the Gen Zs and you look at those that are coming up after them, what they think about is the soft life.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they look at agriculture, the vision that comes in mind is slavery.
Mm-hmm.
How did my mother do it? How did my grandfather do it?
Okay.
That's exactly what they think about. Now, they fail to think that you could do the agriculture without necessarily holding the
Yeah,
hoe.
very true.
You could do the agriculture
Mm-hmm.
without necessarily being the one to sit in that farm. They only
Mm-hmm.
look at the easiest means. And now you realize that when you look at
Yeah.
the world of tech, you look at all of these, the competition has begun to be so high. And now it's if you are able to meet up to those standards, that you can be able to even make up your voice to be heard. And that's why you see so many of
Mm-hmm.
them go out there and become frustrated. And because of that, you see them now maybe on bikes, in taxi, and any other means that they could
Mm-hmm.
do to literally survive. When I began agriculture, I was inspired by my mom, and
Mm-hmm.
also I had to go in for some counseling. My mom told me she never gave birth to a son that should come and be the way she was. You must be able to begin from where
Mm-hmm.
I stopped
Yeah.
to move further, and not
Yeah,
to
makes
come back
sense.
again from where I am to start moving.
Mm-hmm.
In the world of agriculture, those that hold the spade, those that hold the bucket, those that hold those things that have to actually give to the animals or to maybe to make sure that the
Yes.
crops are being produced, you realize that they are one of the highest that are least filled. You have the list of rewards. But the one that sits as the overview of an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur is he that gets the most of the benefits. The wrong conception in the minds
Yeah.
of our young Africans is what's making them run so fast into the third world arena without necessarily seeing the goal that lies
Mm-hmm.
within what we have. You cannot begin to think of building America
Yes.
in a day.
Very true.
They started from somewhere. They are somewhere. They are going to somewhere. If you skip these processes, then you are liable to failure. How many persons in Africa will you talk to about tech and will be willing to
Really a
listen from
few.
you? How many persons will you tell I want to do an advert and will be
Mm-hmm.
willing to listen from you? It begins from the mind. If we have not been
Mm-hmm.
able to change those minds, then you running into tech should be questionable. You should have a strategy or a real reason as to why you are getting there, and seeing how much of persons are there. Do you believe you will be able to outstand them as that 1%
Mm-hmm.
we've been talking about? And so I would say that when you look at the African economy, 70% of what we have as an economy,
Mm-hmm.
financially or otherwise, you see that about 60 to 70% is based on the field of agriculture. But the reason why this agriculture is yet unable to make us feed properly is because of the methods we are using
And
to
what are these
get it done.
methods?
If you get into engineering and what you're targeting is supplying machines that we use for this
Yeah.
agriculture, then you are on the right path. If you get into tech and what you are looking for is how I could include it into this 70%
Mm-hmm.
to get maybe 1% of it from the
Okay.
economy, then you're on the right path. So when I was getting into agriculture, I was like, no, I will not, I cannot get all the
Mm-hmm.
70% of the economy. But if I could get 1 or 2% of what this African economy actually offer, then I'll be wealthy enough to keep results sustainably, yet creating impact.
Okay, what you said there made a lot of sense. Like we even diving into the tech sector, we cannot really compare our tech that we have here with Americans that started right from the basics of agriculture. So it's really something of essential start with the agriculture. So for those even watching the podcast and they're like, it's
Exactly.
true what he's saying, we can start with the agriculture, but they don't really know why they should start with the agriculture. Because uh, let me just take an example for people that grew up maybe in the tech background, they'll be like, more wanted to dive into tech. Now, listening to this podcast, they're kind of like, okay, let me try agriculture, but they don't know why they should do the agriculture. So, as for you, for someone that is just also discovering inspiration and wants to go into agriculture, for you, how will you advise the person to enter into it?
Okay. To someone that I would be
Mm-hmm.
advising to enter into agriculture, first I will have to answer the reason of why. One of the people that
Mm-hmm.
inspires me so much is Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn will tell you that you would have to have a
Mm-hmm.
valid why, a valid reason, or as to why you
Yes.
start something. And after the why, you should be able to say why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not do it? And afterwards, you should be able to answer, like, why not do agriculture? Why not become the pioneer in
Yes.
agriculture? Why not be the one that is the tech giant in,
Mm-hmm.
in agriculture, or be the farmer that is in agriculture? Why not? Why not? Why not? And at the end of the day, you should be able to bring this why not to you.
Mm-hmm.
Why not me? Yeah. When you look at the agricultural space, is that one space that you can start up
Mm-hmm.
from any level, any scratch? Like, it's that level that all you need is a passion and to think up
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, and
Oh,
you'll be able to get there. I'm not promising you that when you begin, you will not
yes.
soil your hands in the dirt. You will soil your hands in the dirt, but in that
Mm-hmm.
dirt lies gold. But then, while in that process, do not forget the vision that one day you don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
the one that will do that work, but rather will want people to come do that work for you, for the economy, and to also pick up a
Mm-hmm.
purpose from there. If you are into tech, if you're into any other background, one of the reasons I'll invite you into the field of agriculture is because it's one of those areas that is so much unexploited. I'm that one person that is peculiar in paying
Mm-hmm.
attention to details. Whenever people are running in for the grand things, for the things that is already
Mm-hmm.
alarming, it's making news. I'm that one person who wants to stay at supplying you
Yeah.
the resources for that. Agriculture is that one chip. Why people should be thinking of making phones? Why so many people are running into how can I construct a phone? You should be that one person that is thinking of the chips that will be used in that phone, because without those
Very
chips, the
true.
phones are useless. While so many people are running into maybe going to dig up gold, at the end of the day, as many as
Mm-hmm.
may run to dig up that gold, not as many will find the gold. So you should be that one in the background that will supply them the space to go ahead
Yeah, makes sense.
and dig up the gold. And that's how I look at agriculture. Agriculture is that stepping stone that
Mm-hmm.
will give you the leverage of
Oh,
getting
okay.
to that vision. Your dream might
Mm-hmm.
not be in agriculture, but agriculture could be the one
Yeah.
to fuel that dream. Maybe with the finance, maybe with the
Mm-hmm.
ability to see a purpose in it, maybe with the ability to see something in it that
Mm-hmm.
everybody has not really been seeing. And all you need to do is to get into the agricultural field and ask, what is the problem of
Mm-hmm.
this sector? Why is it not growing? Why is it still like this? And how can I use my tech skills, or how can
Mm-hmm.
I use what I have to get this problem solved? And what would I have in return for solving this problem? Once you are able to look at it from
Mm-hmm.
these directions, I believe that we will begin to reconsider getting into it as well.
Okay, that's something quite nice. As you're explaining, I'm really understanding that agriculture is actually something of the basis that we need for every field. Like for somebody that wants to start manufacturing phone, you cannot manufacture phones without those chips that are used to manufacture phones. So you need to know how to manufacture the chips first before knowing how to manufacture the phone. And as you said, agriculture is just kind of something for similar. You cannot maybe want to be even a chef in a restaurant, or even for those having work in tech. You cannot just want to go and dive in tech without knowing what you'll be eating every day. So it's kind of this agriculture, the basis of every field that generates you those resources needed to have or even build things in all the other fields. And while you were speaking to, there's one key phrase that captivated me. You said your mother too is working in the agricultural sector. Then when she gave birth to you, she was like, my son don't have to do the same thing that I'm doing, but do more than what I'm doing. So I want to know, your mother gave birth to you, you're around 7 years old, so now you discover your passion into agriculture, and here are you 20 years old. So if I was to look at G when he was 7 years old and still look at that same G when he's 20 years old, which difference will I see?
Okay, me 7 year old, that's taking me
Mm-hmm.
back in time. Well, I would say that at
Yeah.
7 year old, I was the one that used to ask the question. I
Mm.
was yet
Wow.
curious. At 7 year old, I wanted to know
Mm.
everything at a time. I wanted to know as many wives. But while growing up, I would say I began to discover
Mm.
some of those answers and realize that to all these whys, sometimes you may not have a
Yeah.
straight answer to them. But subsequently in life, as we keep moving up, we will discover. I would say that my
Mm-hmm.
7 year old me is still me today. But what changed was a deeper
Okay.
focus, was a deeper knowledge about
Mm.
what I really wanted,
Yeah.
about my society,
Mm-hmm.
about creating impact. At 7, all I wanted was a praise. I go to school, I come back. If I'm first 10, I should be applauded. I wanted to please as many
Yes.
people as possible around me. But growing up to my 20-year-old self, I would say that it has changed. Instead of looking for accolades, it's beginning to
Mm-hmm.
be a lane of impact. What have I been able to live here? And whether you discover it or not, subsequently, I believe you will. And that's the mindset that has gradually transformed from then to now. So it's not like, I would say that it's not
Mm-hmm.
about being a new person. It's about amplifying the person you've always been.
Okay.
Cut down the excesses of what you do not want in you
Mm-hmm.
and amplify the things that are already in you
Yes.
that you want to see more. That's basically what has taken me from the 7 to the 20.
Okay. That's actually something to know really that you're seven, you're more of curious, asking the why of this, why of that, and then the 20-year-old is still the same person as the 7 year old, but what changed was the focus. Now you have a deeper focus and understanding more what your passion is, and you're diving into it as a founder, as a leader, and I even know you're even one of these mentors at a major organization here in Cameroon called Rene. I think it's an African organization, and it's true that we've been talking about your agricultural sector, you with your business, but we have not really gotten deep into what you know. So I would like you to tell us, what do you do as a founder? So this is your agricultural business. What is it all about? So that those watching can understand better.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful one. Presently, I would say, yeah, I'm a
Mm.
young CEO or founder who is still, I
Research
would say,
there.
at the
Yeah.
research stage. And one of my major projects as of now in the
Mm.
field of agriculture is what I'm building that is called the waste
Mm.
morph
Okay.
hubs. And it all began with the question, why should waste be wasted? And
Mm-hmm.
waste morph hubs officially was almost officially coming up or officially came up when I came across TED, that's the Tony Elumelu
Yeah.
Foundation. And Tony Elumelu Foundation is one of those organizations in Africa. Heard of Tony of
Mm.
Tony, a Nigerian who owns the Union Bank of
Exactly.
Africa. When you read his history and how he started, he feels that opportunities should be
Mm-hmm.
given to Africans, and he himself is made from
Very
an
true.
opportunity he had. And so, together with the European Union, he has this $2,000 aid he often gives to those that are coming up with a young dream. Well, when I came across with it, that was when I began to feel like there's someone out there that may be needing this thing that I'm offering. And so if I package it a little more, then I'll come up with something that will be funded. Unfortunately, it was not funded, but then I did not kill the dream. I kept it on Wi-Fi, so I had to switch now. Actually, building waste mob hubs, what we do basically has to do with transformation of the waste that we have into a golden resource that can be used in the agricultural sector. And one of the major projects I'm still on research on, because I'm a researcher in the Catholic University of Cameroon, final year. One of the major things I'm dealing with now is the BSF, what is called the black soldier fly larvae. And the black soldier fly larvae is one of those insects that has naturally given to us by God and create
nature, can say so. Yeah.
And our nature, should I put it that way? Yeah, that has been given to us by nature, because the BSF, they are not produced, they are flies, and you can multiply them, but you don't create them. And so they've been there this way. And I realized that from a class we had with my lecturer that was under waste management, that was where I got to see this detailing. And I began to feel like the system I've always had to transforming organic waste into something that is a resource has actually come through. And basically, the BSF is that one fly or that insect that is capable of transforming organic waste into what I would call the frass, that's organic soil, and also the BSF larvae, which is a very rich protein soil that can actually be added into our animal nutrition. You realize that the prices of soya beans is so much very high. And when you look at Africans, we actually compete with animals. What our animals eat is almost what we eat as well. We eat maize. Animals eat maize. We eat soybeans, and the amount of soybeans that we are even able to produce cannot meet up with the persons that are available in the economy. And now we have to dish out some for our animals. And so I began to look at what could I use this waste for that would transform something that I would be using for all of these animals. Growing up, what we often do was tell the neighborhoods that we had pigs or we had animals, and please, if you have any organic or kitchen waste, keep them around. We'll pass by and collect to give our animals. And now, going into the world that we are in, the 21st century, you cannot keep on doing that. And so I began to look at a way wherewith I would not collect this to give the animals directly, but convert into something that would be more nutritive to give them, thereby solving the problem of waste mismanagement, being able to meet up with the crisis of proteins that are needed in animal food, so that there will be less competition between man and food, and also be able to produce organic manure that will be used in our farms, that is called the frass. So the PSF is that one insect that has been given to us by nature and by God, that is able to transform this package of waste into what we would have as the frass, the organic manure, what we have as the black soldier fly larvae, that is a very rich protein source of about 40% rich in protein, as compared to even soybeans, which is just about maybe 30%. So that we inscribe it into the economy and be able to manage waste properly, have our organic produce from farms, and yet be able to meet up with the demand of livestock. And we are not just aiming at that. We are looking at a strategy by which each home, be it one that produces animals or not, can be able to give back not raw meat, but even the BSF itself. Now, the company is meant to buy out this black soldier fly that has been produced by these homes, and in turn would be able to sell the food that has been made from the business. So it's a give and take. While your home is giving us your waste in the form of PSF, after we've trained you to produce it, what we are giving you back is the animal products Since you cannot eat the black soldier fly larvae, which is more of like looks like the maggot, we will be giving you back chickens that are made from your own waste. And from the waste that you've been able to produce and the frass,
Yes.
that's the organic manure, we'll be able to produce maybe veggies or other fruits or whatsoever that you'll be needing in your own home to meet up with consumption and the rest. So that's what Waste Mob Hub is all about. Presently, we are thinking of adding maybe bao charcoal into it, and also what we call the biogas, so that in the nearest future, most especially the rural areas will not need to keep on using the commercial gas. We could actually connect one from behind your house if you have a few animals, and we begin
Mhm.
from there. Or maybe you have organic waste, and we begin from there. And you realize with time, it's something that will grow sustainable, especially for the rural economy or for those that are not in the towns or in the cities. So that's why I had to move back from town to my village so that we could basically begin
Mhm.
this vision right from
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Okay. What you do is really something of very essential and even really applicable in this our modern age and the 21st century. And I want to really thank you for what you do. And I know, yeah, through this your business that you have started, you're also employing people that work with youth through the process, kind of also solving the problem of employment, which is something really of key and important.